In the winter of 2023, I welcomed a little furball into my life, a tiny puppy named Jojo, who was just under 2 months old when I brought her home. This was my first dive into dog ownership, and let me tell you, it was a roller coaster of joy and learning. As the weeks went by, Jojo got the hang of our outdoor escapades. Sometimes, when the coast was clear, I'd let her off the leash to explore freely. Everything was going splendidly, until one fateful day. Fortunately, we dodged a bullet. City streets can be treacherous, not just for us humans, but for our furry friends too. Drivers often don't expect a dog to dart across the road. Even with all the precautions, small dogs can be hard to spot, leading to some dangerous situations. This got me thinking. Besides keeping her leashed, what else could I do to make Jojo safer? Maybe I could create something to make her more noticeable. I started by checking out common dog nighttime accessories. Most of them were just a mix of lights and reflective clothing. Functional, but a bit dull. I wanted something more playful, like a toy. One day, as I watched Jojo frolic in the wind, I remembered the pinwheels I used to play with as a child. Simple, wind-driven toys. Living in Beijing, I love wandering through hutongs and museums, captivated by local crafts. The traditional Beijing pinwheel, also known as the auspicious wheel, sparked my imagination. I began experimenting with different shapes and ways for Jojo to wear pinwheels. Eventually settling on a design inspired by biplanes. This idea was influenced by my daily life. Living near an airport, I often see planes silhouetted against the sky and imagine them leaving trails like white waves on a blue sea. With Jojo by my side, I now had a new buddy to share my fascination with planes. I tested various materials, analyzing their weight, durability, and spinning efficiency. In theory, everything seemed straightforward, but only hands-on practice could reveal the real challenges. For instance, wheels made of wire were sturdy but too heavy, causing them to spin poorly. On the other hand, thin wood veneer, which looked like paper, was too delicate and broke easily when bent. My first pinwheel wouldn't spin at all. After some close inspection, I realized that the strips needed to be twisted uniformly and spaced evenly. Once I figured that out, my pinwheels spun beautifully. Traditional Beijing pinwheels also make sounds when they spin. Curious about this, I researched how they produce noise. The axle of the pinwheel connects to a piece of paper, which is attached to a small stick. As the pinwheel spins, the paper flips, moving the stick to strike a drum surface and produce a crisp, pleasant sound. This made me wonder, what other sounds could I incorporate? I collected various items to experiment with. Soda can bottoms, bottle caps, tin lids, and even crafted some fun sound gadgets like a macadamia nut bell and a bamboo chime from online tutorials. Although I didn't use them in the end, the process was incredibly engaging. and I often found myself in a state of flow while creating. After countless experiments, it was finally assembly time. However, Jojo wasn't too keen on staying on the table. Treats worked temporarily, but for a more lasting solution, I made a life-sized Jojo model using wire, cotton, and cloth. Wow, it looked surprisingly realistic. With my model in place, I began to tackle the construction of the pinwheel aircraft. Initially, I used the sorghum stalks and white cardboard, but they seemed too bulky. What could I use instead? Feeling stuck, Jojo and I went for a stroll. In Beijing's parks, kite flying is a cherished activity on windy days. Traditional kites are made with bamboo frames and covered in paper or silk, which inspired me to use these materials for their lightweight and flexible properties. I bought bamboo strips but struggled to bend them without them snapping back. After some research, I discovered that hitting the bamboo over a flame would do the trick. It was a fascinating experience, something I had never tried before, and I had a blast. But I had to be cautious not to overdo it, or I might set it on fire. Step by step, I completed the framework, attached the pinwheel, and added the upper wings using kite-making paper to keep everything cohesive. For the wearing, I created a saddle with sponge padding and 3 buckle straps, making sure it would fit comfortably on Jojo. And finally, it was done. Time to take Jojo out for a test flight. Oops, no worries. The first attempt often comes with failures. Let's readjust and try again. Yeah, it works!